Matters.
Welcome to Dork Matters, a podcast for and by dorks, about everything that matters to dorks. I am your dad dork host, Ben Rankle, and with me, as always, is...
Your insufferable know-it-all dork, Lexi Hunt. I'm sticking with that.
You are sticking with that.
I'm sticking with it, yeah. I'm just going to own it.
I feel like we workshopped it. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I, for the record, think that you are very sufferable, and I'm happy to suffer you every time we record an episode.
Very kind, thank you.
But you do you. You get to put those labels on yourself.
Maybe each time it's going to be different.
Oh. That's all I've got. My credential is dad. That's pretty much it.
You could be like Papa Dork next time.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I take that back. That's gross.
Something. Also, my kid calls my parents Nana and Papa, so...
My nephew calls my parents Nana and Papa.
They got to choose. That's the thing. Like nowadays, grandparents get to choose. So they chose Nana and Papa, and then Fiona's family is Grandma and Grandpa. Just the old tried and true.
That's very nice. It's a nice divide. Keeps things separate so there's no confusion.
Yeah. We don't want them to be confused about which grandparents are grandparents. What are we talking about tonight?
We are talking about the greatest topic of all, Hot or Not Final Fantasy Edition.
Yeah, we are going to take those sexiest of sexy Final Fantasy characters, and we're not just going to say hot or not. We're going to put them into a tournament, a battle royale. Only one can be the sexiest Final Fantasy character of all time, or of our list. We made lists, and we checked them twice.
Checked them multiple times, actually.
Who is naughty and nice? That's a dad joke. They're just going to get worse as I get older. And have another kid.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
At least I'll have a reason to not be funny as opposed to before.
Well, I'm looking forward to... Well, I'm not looking forward to it because I know it's going to be hell for you guys, but like 15 minutes of sleep, Ben, trying to record podcasts and being cognizant, like that's going to give us some great material.
They might be some of our worst episodes. But we're going to go through it because... we're going for quantity, not quality.
I look forward to them.
With that in mind, there is at least a caveat here with our tournament. Since we're sexualizing cartoon characters, video game characters, for the sake of our tournament, they are all adults consenting, etc., etc. And we're objectifying them willingly.
Yeah.
They all said they want to participate in this tournament, and they're all of age. So I think that's a pretty good disclaimer, a warning.
Yeah, there.
Nobody could have a problem with what I just said. I think I covered our bases.
Good. That's like a legal contract. We're fine now.
Yeah. So one thing I wanted to talk about before we get into it, and we do have to get into it, we have 20 characters fighting, and we have a pre-round too to see who goes on to take on the real tournament. And that's wild. That's gonna take some work. But first I wanted to say we made our lists independently, and then we got together to talk about it. And we had basically half a list each that was overlapping characters. So I want to get into it. If you will talk about your characters, just go down the list and I will let you know which ones were also on my list.
Okay. So in no particular order for me, we start with Yuffie. Yuffie.
Either works for me. From FF7.
FF7. Vincent Valentine, also from Final Fantasy VII.
I had Vincent Valentine as well. The brooding vampire man is just oozing with sex appeal.
Well, I thought, who doesn't love a good vampire, right?
Yeah.
And then we have Zell from Final Fantasy VIII.
Okay.
Lulu from Final Fantasy X.
Be Still, My Heart, also on my list.
Oh, ding ding.
Can't help it. Can't keep myself away from a girl dressed in belts.
Well, I just love her because she kind of looks like a witch. And I'm just like, that's my goal in life, is to make the neighborhood kids think that I'm a witch.
She walks around dressed in a dress made of belts and carrying a stuffed animal. It's a weird vibe, but it works.
And she lives on a tropical island. And she's the one emo.
With Waka.
Yeah, with Waka.
With her wild, happy, chirpy boyfriend who dresses in primary colors and plays sports ball. Blitzball. I know it's Blitzball.
So there's Lulu, and then also from Final Fantasy X, we have Kamari Ronso.
Also on my list. Like, guy's got a big horn. Oh, no, wait, his is chopped off, isn't it?
Yeah, his is chopped off.
Oh, the dishonor.
That's why you consent away. Come on, Ben.
My apologies.
Okay, and then one of my most favorites, so from Final Fantasy XII, is Fran, the half bunny lady.
Yeah, also, like, very, very high on my list, Fran. So we've got overlap there as well.
Yeah. Balthier.
Yes, also on my list.
Final Fantasy XII.
You can't have your Fran without your Balthier.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel like he and Fran, they go together. Peaches and cream.
Yeah. No, they definitely go together. And you can tell they're not opposed to having somebody else go along with them.
I mean, that's how they roll.
That's how they roll. Literally, they grab somebody in the first scene and bring them along with them.
And then for whatever reason, Vincent Valentine again on my list. So I'm just going to...
Well, let's take that one off. Yeah, only once, Vincent. Calm down.
Yeah. So then we have Tifa from Final Fantasy VII, which, come on.
Excellent. Excellent choice. Also on my list.
I think Tifa's probably on everybody's list out there. Like, everyone's like, yeah, Tifa, of course. Yeah. And then...
Man, woman, non-binary, everyone's got Tifa.
Because Tifa is objectively... Well, I mean, we'll get to it, but is she objectively hot or not? I don't know. Okay, and then we have Rinoa.
I would say Rinoa, heartily, from FF8.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rinoa, like quinoa. Rinoa.
Same name, right?
She looks like she eats quinoa. Quinoa.
And then my favorite autocorrect, I have Edith from Final Fantasy VIII in my phone, which Ben was kind enough to point out to me is actually...
Adia Kramer, the antagonist / tragic victim of the FF8 operatic story.
Another hot witch.
A very good choice. I'm actually kicking myself for not having that one on my list.
Mm-hmm. And then we have Auron from Final Fantasy X.
A respectable choice.
Beatrix from Final Fantasy IX.
General Beatrix from FF9 is also on my list.
I love her.
I think half of our list is an overlap, and I just thought that was astounding. Us elder millennials with our FF games from the late 90s, early 2000s.
It's so good.
And we are just clearly have our sort of likes and dislikes molded by Final Fantasy games. I think it was one of the first things we bonded over in college was chatting about Final Fantasy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You're probably one of the first people I met that actually liked Final Fantasy that wasn't in my family.
Well, and I think like when you're passing around sketchbooks in art college, like looking at each other's work, and then you're like, oh, you also like Final Fantasy. And you're like, a kindred spirit.
Sure do. I guess everyone in art school probably liked Final Fantasy.
Yes.
And wanted to be a witch.
And then finally on the list, and I didn't specify on my list, so I'm glad that you did ask. I had Shiva. And
you were just all-encompassing Shiva, which I understand the urge to do.
Yes.
But I asked you to specify.
If I had to, yes. And this one was a tough one, so I said either Final Fantasy X or Final Fantasy VII Remake Shiva.
Yeah, but I think Remake Shiva might be a little too sexy and a little outside of the purview of this particular tournament. So I think going with 10 for the tournament's sake is a great choice. And Shiva is also one I had on my list as well, but I had chosen FF8.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that polygonal figure really got me going as a teenager. I'll give you the quick rundown with mine and we'll move on to getting these characters fighting it out. The ones that I did not have overlapping with you, I have Celeste Cher from FF6.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of the generals of the Empire and eventually joins your party. I have Setzer Gabbiani, he of the gambling persuasion and the airship having, and sort of albino with all the scars.
Yes, yeah,
some sexiness going on there. And then we just have a list of people that are the same as you, and then we get to Quistis Treppe. I'm gonna say, since there's sort of an Italian thing going on.
Quistis Treppe.
Yeah, right. Perfect. Do the Italian fingers when you say that.
I did the hand thing, so that helped me.
FF8. I also had Fujin, who is one of Cypher Almasi's sort of hench people.
Yes.
Does not warrant a last name apparently, but you know, I have a bit of a trend with my FF7 women, and it tends to be a bit severe and maybe could kick my butt. We have Shiva, which I'm just clarifying. Mine's FF8 because we did overlap there. And then I had Cypher Almasi, sort of a tragic character again from FF8. He's sort of misled, thinks he's the hero, and it turns out he is sort of being used. And, you know, he ends up having a nice ending at the finale of the game.
Yeah, I guess.
And, you know, I just sort of feel for him. And I think he's much more attractive than Squall. Like, Squall is just such a nothing.
Ugh, I don't really, like, let's not even talk about Squall. Come on.
It might have been one of the first FF games where I'm like, I want the antagonist to win here. Squall is so, ugh.
Squall was, if I can use a reference from an earlier episode, the celery. It got us to where we needed to be with all the other characters. Did not care for him. Full circle. If you haven't listened to the episode, go back and listen to it, folks.
Which episode was that again?
I think that was Star Dork Valley, episode number 1.
Is that where we get into celery?
It might be.
Okay.
I don't know. We're going to have to listen
to folks? Just listen to all of the episodes.
Yeah.
What else do I have that does not over? I think the last one I have is Fang from FF13. And yeah.
Oh, Fang. Yes.
And that's about as new as we get on this list. Orba Yun Fang.
Mm-hmm.
Or Yun Fang. Probably Yun. We're going to mispronounce most of these names, folks. And if that really bothers you, just make sure you leave a comment and let us know how it should have been pronounced. We'll appreciate the feedback.
Yes.
That's our lists. Those are who really kind of sparked the barbecue for us when we were younger.
Who cut the mustard?
Isn't cut the mustard farting?
I think that's cutting cheese.
Oh, my bad. Wicked our candle.
Flies your kite.
Yeah, burps our Tupperware.
Boils our water.
Boils our water. That's better. I'm just trying to come up with dumb ones. What do we got? Salts our cucumber. Is that too suggestive?
No. That's fine.
All right. Let's get into it. So we have a pre-round of fighting here because of our inability to keep our list to a normal number. So let's do round 1.
Ding, ding.
It is Fujin from FF8 versus Vincent Valentine from FF7. This is tough. I think Vincent wins just off the draw. Vincent's iconic. He's broody. Everyone loved Vincent. And Fujin's not sort of a side character, is literally a side character.
I think, and Fujin has like 4 lines the entire game. So you're not really...
Yeah.
I mean, they're both brooding characters and all, but at least like Vincent's got a little more chutzpah.
He definitely gets more of a what's the word I'm looking for? Built-out character story. Yeah. Fujin's just sort of there. Yeah. And I think if I'm being honest, we have to let Fujin go right off the bat.
Yeah. Bye, Fujin. And, thanks for your service.
Yeah. So we're gonna send Fujin away here. They're gonna drop.
Plus, it's like Vincent's a vampire. And I just feel like Fujin couldn't fight a vampire. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fair. No, you got it. So our next bracket was our Shivas.
I don't know, Bet. I think my Shiva's sexier than yours.
I'm going to have to do something here, which is Google Shiva FF8. You're going to have to do this too. Shiva FF10.
Yeah.
And we have to ignore polygon count because that's not fair.
Okay, so here's why I think Final Fantasy X Shiva is better than Final Fantasy VIII poly. And I'm looking at art.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like a screen shot from the game.
Mm-hmm.
I find the Final Fantasy VIII Shiva to be very fish-like.
Yeah.
Very like scaly.
I see where you're coming from.
Right? And like that kind of creeps me out a little bit.
Yeah.
Whereas Final Fantasy X Shiva has this like very like not vampire, take that back, more like shield maiden kind of feel to her.
Yeah.
And I just feel like she is an uber babe with some sweet hair and like some pretty crazy toenails.
I didn't think I'd let go this easy, but looking sort of at the art and stuff and trying to ignore polygon count, etc., Yeah, I think I'm with you. You know, Shiva FF8 will always hold a special spot in my heart, but I'm willing to let Shiva 8 go.
Thanks, Shiva 8.
Thanks, Shiva 8. You're done. You're fired.
This is the nicest bracket. Thanks for your service. Next.
Thanks for getting me through those weird teen years. Okay, I did something stupid, so I might have screwed up some of the brackets, but we're just going to roll with it. I think our last sort of pre-battle was Kamari Ronso versus, of FF10 versus Renoa Hartley from FF8. And that sounds right to me, so I think we can just roll with it.
This is a tough one, actually, because I both like them and both could see them leaving quite easily from our little bracket here.
Yeah. I think we keep Kamari, if you're willing to listen. He is probably the only non-human that's still on the list here.
Fran, I'll have you know.
Oh, sorry, Fran. Yeah. Yes, no, how could I forget my Fran?
How dare you?
But he's the only male presenting non-human. And Renoa, I was going to go against whoever she faced anyhow. I find her boring. I think she's just sort of a less interesting carbon copy of Tifa, everyone's favorite. The character model is almost exactly the same, but the personality is way, way worse.
She did have a pretty sweet dog, though.
The dog is not on the list, though, which I think is a good choice overall.
We like the dog in a different way.
Yeah, just not going to make it onto our sexy battle list. All right, are you willing to let Renoa go, or do you want to really fight for her?
Yeah, I find her a petulant teenager. Like a lot of parts of her character, I was like, you are perfect for Squall, you absolute baby. So, nope, I'm good with that. Kamari.
Isn't she also sort of like a privileged character who's trying to like slum it, if you'll pardon the expression, and like sort of doesn't realize how good she has it and is like really kind of talking down and condescending to characters that are through tougher situations, if I'm remembering the story correctly.
Yeah, 100%. She comes from massive wealth and joins little terrorist cell.
Yeah, and that's how they meet.
And is going against her father.
Yeah. No, Renoa.
So I'm not saying you can't stand up to your parents or do things that are different. I'm just saying that, like,
have some self-awareness when you do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Renoa, you're gone. Goodbye. Yeah. And for some reason, this thing is still telling me that we had
Orin.
It was Orin and somebody else that we're supposed to battle, and I don't remember who it is. I think we had Orin against Kamari, and I think that was what was supposed to happen. But then I don't remember who Renoa was against.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, somebody's got to go here. I mean, we could still do the Kamari versus Orin thing if we want to. Kamari, you made it through one round, but you're on the block again because of us forgetting how to do brackets properly. Okay, let's do it. Kamari Ronso FF10 versus Orin FF10. Orin's hair is weird.
Well, Orin's older, and so he can't really be blamed for his hairstyle, Ben.
Okay.
I liked how he would put his arm in his jacket while he was fighting, because he was pretty ripped for an older gent.
That's pretty cool to put your arm in the jacket like that to get ready to fight.
Yeah, because it just seemed like so, like, oh, look who's this classy.
I remember his voice actor being pretty sexy too versus Kamari, who didn't say a whole lot.
No, and it was very much like Kevin from The Office talking in monosyllable. Like, I didn't care for Kamari hungry. Like, eh.
Yeah, we get that flashback too with Orin's and Titus's dad.
Yeah, Jeff.
And he's doing his best there. I don't care for the glasses. I don't care for the hair. The voice is good. The backstory is interesting enough. He sticks around. He comes back a second time to try to like deal with stuff.
He was a good guy.
Responsible dude.
Yeah, he was looking out for his friend's kid. He was trying to help people.
Okay. I think we can, let's cut Kamari based on the fact that he doesn't really have a personality. You know, hot bod, but
he did have more of an interesting storyline as he got into it, but not enough.
Yeah, I remember finding out he's sort of the runt and ostracized from his family, and also chose to be a protector of Unifreya or whatever.
But
Yeah,
just it's
whatever.
not. It doesn't compare. So we're going with Oren because
We have to make tough choices.
We don't like it any more than you guys do, but we gotta make the tough calls. Yeah,
we gotta say goodbye. All right, we're down to it then. And did our brackets get messed up? Maybe, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna find out who wins and who doesn't, and who moves on to the next bracket. So our matchups, should we recap who we have now that we did our little preamble? So the matchups, first bracket is Quistis Trepe versus Oron. Yuffie Kisaragi versus Orbe Young Fang. The next bracket is Tifa Lockhart versus Setzer Gabbiani, and that is going to be difficult for me personally. Shiva FF10 versus Fran FF12. I can end that one right now for you. Zeldinch versus Cypher Almasi. I think this is a good matchup because I have an utter disdain for Zell.
But he's love of hot dogs.
He does love hot dogs, and God bless him for that. General Beatrix versus another General, Celeste from FF6. We've got Balthier taking on Adia Kramer. That's a tough one. And then Vincent Valentine versus Lulu. There's a couple of these I feel like I can make my choice.
I feel like we can knock some of them out right now.
Yeah. Should we start at the top, or do you want to pick a couple where we don't think there's much of a choice?
Let's start with the ones where we don't think that there's much of a choice. I would like to suggest Vincent versus Lulu.
Yeah, Vincent's gone, right?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, that's not even a conversation.
Lulu's a 10, if you'll pardon the pun with her Final Fantasy game. Vincent is a 7.
Oh, there's the good dad joke right there. Good
Thank
job,
you.
Ben.
I'm going to keep a list here and then take them out of the bracket after we decide all of these. So
okay,
I'll put the losers here. Vincent has to go. I felt like there was one that felt easy for me, but you might feel differently, which is Shiva versus Fran. There's no way Shiva stays over Fran.
Oh, yes. Fran is 100% moving on to the next round. I'm sorry. Okay. I love that Shiva, but...
Shiva's great. Shiva is all-encompassing. There is almost not an iteration of Shiva that isn't, a dime.
Yeah.
But with the exception of what the hell they did in FF13 with that weird motorcycle Shiva twins thing where Snow Villiers like rides around on them. I'm like, could you be somewhat subtle? Like, what are you doing here?
No, I mean, Fran just stomps her out. Fran's wonderful. So next,
motorcycle Shiva is enough to make Shiva lose here.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that I mentioned that you feel like is an easy win?
No, I feel like the rest of them I need to hear a little bit more from you.
All right, so let's start off at the top then. We have Quistis Trepe of FF8 versus Oren from FF10.
I feel like this one might be a little easy.
Quistis has a whip. She wears that pencil skirt. She is in charge. It is just everything I could like, and Oren does nothing for me. So this is why we're in tough territory here. I'd have to hear something really good to make me want to roll over on Quistis.
She's the teacher hitting on one of her students. That's a little creepy.
Okay, that's a very good point. I said, come at me, and you did. That is a abusive power dynamic. Yep. She does leave the teacher job, doesn't she, at some point? And she's also, in the same age group. You're right. It's super fucking creepy.
I'm sorry, Ben.
You did it. No, you did it. Wow, that did become easy. Holy shit. Quistis, why?
Yeah.
Maybe you should be a little bit more responsible with your position and not try to abuse it to hit on your students.
I just feel like that alone, we can't let her move on for being such a creep.
No, you're right. I didn't think you'd be able to KO it in one hit.
Yeah.
You're done.
You're done.
Goodbye. All right, next bracket. Wow, we're moving through quicker than I would have imagined. That's okay. As we get into the lower brackets, it'll take longer, I'm sure.
There's going to be some fights coming up here.
We've still got like 1, 2, 3 more rounds of fighting before we have a winner.
Oh, yeah.
So next up is Yuffie from FF7 versus Fang from FF13. Ooh. Did you play FF13?
I did, yes. I didn't much care for it, but I did play it.
None of us did we?
No.
There was a lot that I liked about it, but it just didn't coalesce into a good game overall.
Yeah, there was elements where I was like, oh, that was cool. And then that's about it. I definitely liked her character and thought interesting.
A protector, big sort of buff, has a wicked ass mullet.
Yes, I do love that like El DeBarge type haircut. As a general rule,
Yeah.
I love that haircut, especially on women or people that identify and present as women.
Yes.
But I don't know, Yuffie is just, she's from a cool little village. She's a ninja. She's kind of like a take no shit kind of character. I found her to be a little bit more realistic with different levels than Fang. Like Fang was just kind of one note.
Yeah, and Fang comes into the game pretty late as well.
Yes.
My problem with Yuffie is, I don't really find the character model all that, doesn't do a whole lot for me. And then her personality is a little much for me too. I find it kind of hyperactive, and that's I don't find that cute. I think that it's supposed to be cute as far as the game goes, but it just sort of is like, hey,
yeah,
there's some world-ending stuff going on here, and I think you need to take it a little bit more seriously.
I think like 13 or 12-year-old me, or however old I was when I started playing that game, saw her and was like, yeah, she's so edgy and cool. And so as a child,
she's your Avril Lavigne of Final Fantasy.
Yes, she was the Avril Lavigne of Final Fantasy, who at the time was quite cool.
See, you're saying that as a good thing. I'm saying it as a very big negative.
Hey man, Avril Lavigne had her moment in the sun. Don't you take that from her.
She's one of the she's one of those girls that's only friends with the boys. It's like, okay.
Yeah, but at the time, I think a lot of us were like that.
To wear a tie and a tank top.
I'm not like other girls. And then you realize you're exactly like other girls.
Well, I never really went through this myself, so it's hard for me to speak on. Was I like other girls? It was hard for me to say.
I think it was just wanting to be edgy without having to actually be edgy, and Yuffie was able to do that in a safe way. But I could also concede she can be annoying as shit.
Yeah, and just like nothing about Fang for me is anything except for responsible, does it for me.
Yeah.
Strong, big shoulders. See, I just those shoulder presses, she didn't skip that.
You're kind of describing Kevin from the Backstreet Boys for me right now. He was the responsible one. He was the tall one in the back.
See, you get the appeal. Fang is
I do get that.
FF13's Kevin for you. Man, this one's tough.
Okay, as soon as you say that, I'm like, conversation done. Fang is the Backstreet Boys, Kevin Richardson, move on.
Okay, goodbye, Yuffie. I'm sorry. It was a valiant defense that somehow got knocked down with the Backstreet Boys defense. Kevin's
the best one he was the responsible one.
And if that is what Fang brings up for you, visions of Kevin, then I think we've got what we want. We got a winner. Okay, next bracket. This one's tough for me, but I think I know which way it's going. Tifa Lockhart versus Setzer Gabbiani. Setzer might be one of my earliest video game crushes, I think. It's hard to tell. Did I want to be him? Did I want to be with him? She's just so cool. The dude flies around in a airship, plays slots, wants to kidnap the singer at the opera. It's all kidnapping. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I might have just sold me off, Setzer.
I'm just going to let you talk yourself out of some of these.
This is supposed to be romantic, Setzer. Why'd you ruin it for me?
Tifa owns a bar and can do a sweet little kickflip on people, so...
I mean, there's no way Tifa loses to anybody, really. It's going to be a final bracket before Tifa's gone for me. It sucks, Setzer, because you are really one of my ride-or-die characters, but you fell up against somebody who is punching a little bit above your weight.
Ding, ding, there you go. Good one.
You're gone, Setzer. I'm so sorry, buddy.
No, I'm not. Tifa's awesome.
Okay, moving on. It's Zell Dinscht, the hot dog eating face tattoo guy, versus Cypher Almasi.
Hey, but when you say it like that, of course it doesn't count the face tattoo hot dog eater.
He's got a literal Mike Tyson face tattoo on his face. It's designed to look like Mike Tyson's face tattoo.
With this haircut, what would you call that one? Like the unicorn?
Oh, the swoop. It was called the Clooney in grade 8. You'd go to the Magic Cuts and your mom would say, okay, you can get You can get a haircut and you'd be like, I want the Clooney. Oh, I want the Clooney.
With your frosted tips.
Yeah, frosted tips. They cut all of it, or the Caesar cut, I think, is what it's more appropriately.
The Caesar cut. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, Zell is so irritating, hyperactive.
But he's a glass half full kind of guy.
Yeah,
he's always thinking he's going to get a hot dog, and he never does.
He never gets that hot dog.
Never gets the hot dog.
Some entendre going on here.
And there's like a weird kind of like sub storyline with him and like a random character in the background, like the girl in the library.
Yeah, I never really cared for that.
I think you just didn't care for it because it had something to do with Zell. Okay, so make your case for the class bully, Mr. Gaslight.
Cypher is only the bully from the point of view of Squall's story. At least at first, and then we find out how tragically he's been misled, how hard he's tried to do the right thing and take care of people and protect his friends and the school, and that he's just been misled and sort of tread upon. And I can feel that as somebody who was raised to be a certain thing and then had to find out that all of that was bullshit. It's tragic, and that's sexy. That tragic backstory.
It's hard to compete against that with, but my guy likes hot dogs.
But he doesn't get the hot dog. I just need you. Okay, let's do a Google of their faces here.
Don't make me look at him.
Their official character art.
He's got a great smile.
Oh my god. I can't even.
Do you hate him even more?
Yes, I can't even look at him. What is he doing? What is that?
He's smiling and he's going like thumbs up.
How did he get that tattoo? Oh, he looks like this dude that grew up on my block.
Okay, as if any of us, when we turned 18, go, I'm going to make a great decision with my newfound authority.
Sure, I bought a PlayStation and played, FF10 on a credit card. What did he do? He got a face tattoo.
Face tattoo. What is that called? The job killer?
Yeah. Knuckles, neck, face, those are all called job killers.
Knuckles, I don't think that should be the case. Okay, then we look at Cypher. I mean...
He's objectively a handsome man.
Yeah, I guess.
He's got that scar. He's got that well-kept hair. He's strong.
There's like a cockatoo aspect to it, too. Like, there's just like one hair that's like slightly...
that's getting astray.
Okay, I will concede this round to Cypher.
It's very big of you. It's very kind of you. Goodbye, Zell. So long. I hope you get the hot dog next time, my friend.
I'm going to send you pictures of Zell in the mail.
Okay. What am I supposed to do with that?
You're never going to know. You're just going to open a letter one day. And,
I mean, he's still an FF character. He's not like, they didn't make him look like an alien or something, but he's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's move on. We are at General Beatrix from FF9 versus Celeste Cher from FF6. This is a very tough one for me because I love the character of Celeste Cher, but Beatrix is also very cool. I guess you would come down on the side of Beatrix since you're not super into Cher.
Oh, 100%. She is amazing. She's everything. She is the leader of the guards, I feel like the guards are also all women and wearing bikinis. I'm not big on that. That part, not really big for me.
Sure, but it's also a matriarchy. It's a queen that has them dressed like that, not a king. So it's a little less like...
It's still weird.
I don't know. It's not great from an actual armor standpoint. But General Beatrix didn't make them wear that.
No.
I think one of the big points against her is she seems to have some sort of a thing going with Steiner at some point. And I'm like, really?
I'm meh. You love who you love, Ben.
But she also wields the Save the Queen sword, and that's probably one of the best swords.
It is the best sword in the game.
Like, I know it recurs in different games, but it's...
Yes.
Yeah, Celeste is just such an interesting and tragic character for me, and I guess that's another theme again.
Okay, make the case for Celeste.
I'm trying to, and I might not be able to make a really good one. She's just got that great stuff. She tries to kill herself at one point when she realizes what the Empire is doing. She tries to turn against the Empire. She joins, the rebel group and makes this great sort of character arc. Participates in the opera scene. Has that great scene in the World of Ruin where Sid is taking care of her on that small island, and she's washed up on there, so she becomes a very important point of view character. Yeah, and she might have been one of my early game crushes. It was her crushes. It was her and sort of Setzer in that same game. When people were supposed to be falling for Terra, Celeste was the one for me. Much more interesting, much more agency as a character. A general in the Empire's army who just does the right thing, makes a choice and does the right thing.
It's kind of like Beatrix's story, though.
It's not completely dissimilar, which is what makes it so difficult.
Yeah.
And, her character design is
beautiful.
Yoshitaka Amano, who is basically one of my biggest influences, earliest influences. I don't know if biggest is my thing.
Yeah, incredible. Like, that's unbelievable work.
He's one of those things that when you're young, you're like, oh, I want to make art because this person makes such beautiful art. Yeah, delicate but strong, and it's a very interesting combination. But again, it's tough.
I just feel like Beatrix has that edge to her, like a little, I don't know, because like we said, it's a really similar storyline. She finds out that she's dedicated her life to protecting her queen, her queendom,
who's made some really shady choices and tried to do some bad stuff,
but then makes the right call and joins. I always love a person who looks at the facts in front of them and changes their mind. That's a good person.
Agreed.
And I feel like she really encapsulates that.
They both do that.
And the fact that she loves Steiner, who cares? I mean, she's willing to love a big doofus.
Who would love a big doofus, Fiona?
I always compared him to like Charles Emerson Winchester, like just out of place. But trying to do the best that he can with what he's given.
That's very literary.
He had a really hard time coming around, but he did. And then she was there alongside him. I just feel like that's a good character that we should enjoy. Plus, she's a babe.
Does her sort of role as a real minor character in that game, though, like she is cool. She makes an impact when she arrives, but she is not like a point of view character. You don't get her as a party member. She's just sort of a background character. So do we let that influence our decision?
That's a tough call, Ben. I don't know.
Oof. It's boy, oh boy. When we make this decision, you all have to let us know if it was the right one or the wrong one.
Yeah. I'm really struggling with this one because I kind of want to fight for her, but I don't really have a good argument other than what I've said. Mm-hmm. So no, she's not a playable character. Would the storyline have changed without her? Not necessarily. She did throw down her life.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think she actually died. I think she just was willing to. They all try to do that. You know what? I'm going to step back from this one because there's another one that I'm willing to drive to your house and fight with you about.
Oh, yeah. Jesus. Oh, shit. You know where I live, too.
Yeah, I do. I'll stand outside with a sign.
Never do a podcast with somebody who knows where you live. That's my advice. I think I'm going to give this to Cher if you're willing to. I love both of these characters so much. I obviously had Beatrix on my list as well. I just think her minor role versus like Celeste's major role in ending Kefka's, World of Ruin. I'm going to let her take the edge there.
Yeah. Okay. I will concede and agree to that for sure.
Thank you for not screaming at me. Sorry, Beatrix. You will be missed. All right, we are moving right along. That was probably the one we spent the most time on so far. Who would have guessed? Yeah. From FF9 is still probably one of my favorite FFs, though, so I'm not surprised. And FF6 great. As well.
I hope that gets a real good remake.
Oh, it would be cool. I guess I just want them to finish the FF7 remake. That was really fun. And I doubt we'll ever get it.
I was actually just looking about that today. Anyway, we digress. Go on.
Balthier versus Adia Kramer. This seems like a tough one, but maybe I am wrong.
I love a witch. I can't turn my back on my witchy girl.
And, I've been standing a lot for, these tragic characters who are sort of misled and used, and she is a prime example of that. Balthier has a great voice, thinks he's the lead of the story, kind of gets the... He's great. He's so great.
He's so wonderful. I just love his
charming as hell, roguish.
Yeah, like Jack Sparrow-esque attitude towards life.
Oh, see, now you say Jack Sparrow-esque and it actually wrecks it for me.
But just that, like, okay, I'm not going to say the JS, but the laissez-faire kind of thing.
Yeah. He knows what he's doing. He's competent. He's confident. He's handsome. He's got Fran.
He's got Fran.
If you got Fran, you did something right, friend. But I kind of like the idea of Adia going forward.
I just love her so much because she is... Like, everything about her is just so amazing.
Being used by that evil stuff to, like, push their agenda and, like, sort of really tragic. Yeah, let's do it. Let's make a quick call here.
Hooray!
Goodbye, Balthier. You were loved.
Yeah.
But you will always have Fran. We can't take that away from you. I am going to remove some characters. Here's the people we have taken out. If you'll read them for me, I will remove them from our brackets.
All right, so we have lost, sadly, Vincent.
Goodbye, Vince.
Shiva.
Shiva FF10.
Quistis.
Goodbye. You abused your power.
Yuffie.
Yuffie.
Your childlike wonder.
Childlike wonder.
Yeah, I take that back. Jeff, please cut that out.
Don't cut it out. It's funny.
Setzer.
Setzer, goodbye. Your gambling ways have not paid off.
Zell, your most favorite. See you in hell, Zell.
Get the hot dog next time, pal.
Sadly, my girl Beatrix.
This one hurts both of us.
Goodbye. Yeah, I'm sad. And then Balthier.
Balthier, who should have been the main character, but has now been relegated yet again to the side.
Sorry, bud.
Woof. All right, we got a few more rounds. We got to keep moving.
Yeah, we got to.
All right, top of the order. It is Lulu versus Oren, and Oren is nothing to me.
Yeah, so I feel like that one's done. So Lulu moves on to the next round.
Okay. Well, goodbye, Oren. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I'm not really sorry. I love
it. Fang versus Celeste. I feel like you don't have skin in this one.
I don't really give a shit, if I'm honest. You pick.
I think it's that's tough for me. No, I think there's just more to Celeste, so Celeste stays for me.
Yeah, I would be surprised had you picked Fang.
Fang is aesthetically and sort of tonally my jam, but character-wise, not as developed. We are doing Tifa Lockhart versus Adia Kramer. How the hell are you supposed to choose here? I like Adia, but it's hard to take Tifa out of this early for me. I just can't. She's got the punches. She's got the shoulders. She's got the whole package.
I agree. I think there's too many levels to Tifa, and it's that main character.
Adia's got a great arc, but yeah, there's something iconic about her that Adia doesn't have that sort of elevates her.
Yeah, I'd agree to that one.
You've been remade. You're in a remade game that gives you something, an edge.
Yeah.
Are we wrong? Let us know. Fight us in the comments. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Wow, we really moved to this bracket. The next ones are going to be tough. We have Cypher versus Fran, and that's a no-brainer. Cypher is no longer...
Yeah, I mean...
No longer here.
God, I love Fran so much.
Yeah, Fran is... She could take this whole thing.
I'm hoping.
Okay, so we said goodbye to Oren. You get to dissolve into light bugs or whatever in the ocean. Is that what happened? No, he's a memory who was forgotten. Whatever.
He's a memory, yeah. I mean, spoiler alert. Or is he? If you haven't played the game at this point...
Spoiler alert for a 20-year-old game. Sorry, y'all. I can't even imagine you being interested in listening to this particular episode if you hadn't played that.
If you haven't played it, when that bombshell dropped, I remember being like, I think I need glasses because I obviously didn't read. Something's wrong here. Didn't hear things properly, didn't read. Like, what do you mean they're not real?
How's that work?
Ugh.
I don't understand. I'm playing a fantasy game and I'm still having trouble with my suspension of disbelief.
Oh, that was such a good one. It was so sad. Oh, it was so good.
It was tough. It was really tough. I did not play the 2 sequels, did you?
I did.
And do they get some sort of No? Recovery?
I mean, so Final Fantasy X-2 with like the seagull gals or whatever the hell they're called.
Yeah, the pop star, and you have your the dress spheres. I did play that game. I did not finish it. She rescues Titus, right? But then she dies.
I've played it through.
Is that what happens?
Twice.
Spoilers again for an 18-year-old game.
I just felt like everything that I liked about her in Final Fantasy X was just destroyed by X-2. Because then she becomes this like vapid pop star traveling around the world, putting on sexy clothes. And I just felt that it was such a money grab for not great reasons. I don't know. I did not care for it, but I did play it through like 2 or 3 times.
And what about 10-3?
I did not play 10-3. I didn't play that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, apparently they get a happy ending there. I don't know. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm not even interested enough to read the Wikipedia about that. Yeah. My story ended with Titus fading away.
Yep, done. Story ends there. We're good.
Mr. Stark, I feel weird. Spider-Man.
No, that was an interesting accent you used there. Was that like
I was trying to be, I don't know, the Bronx, Brooklyn, where's Spider-Man from?
Yeah, I was going to say it's like an old-timey like newspaper. Nah, Mr. Stark, I feel weird.
But like a kid, because Peter Parker's supposed to be young. Mr. Stark, I don't want to go.
There you go. That's better. That was a good one.
Okay. It's a little more Mickey Mouse. Okay, we said goodbye to Cypher as well.
Yeah.
Your story fades away. Adia Kramer. Oh, we're out of FF8ers now.
Yeah.
It was, kudos to FF8 for such a strong showing overall. Who would have guessed that they would have such a big representation here? And I know if, Fiona was involved in this, we'd have Irvine as well.
Oh, yeah.
Jumping in there, and Cowboy. Lots of people like Cowboy. That game, it might not have been the best, but it definitely had a lot of stuff that, teenagers really enjoyed.
Well, there was tropes, right? There was like the cowboy guy.
Yeah.
There's the brooding
loner. The brooding loner.
It just reminded me of Mean Girls, how they're talking about like that's where like the hot girls sit, that's where the losers sit. That it's the same thing. They're just looking at tropes, high school tropes.
I think it's because I missed FF7 just with the shuffle from going from Super Nintendo to then it went to PlayStation, and I didn't have a PlayStation for a long time. And then when I did, FF8 was the game that was like du jour, and I was the right age, like, I don't know, 15 or so for that, and it was just like 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And yeah, everything about that really, I love the garden, the idea of like these floating colleges where you got trained to be a cool, like,
super soldier,
mercenary agent. And yeah, that game will always hold a spot for me, even if I think objectively it may not be like the most enticing or engaging. It's
playing it again as an adult, I was like, Jesus, this game is very slow. But
it drags. It super drags.
But I loved the idea. Like, I loved their dorms. I was like, oh, cool. They've got like their own cool dorms, and there's a library.
They got a training room where you can go battle a T-Rex. Don't battle the T-Rex right away. You're gonna die.
Don't do that. Please don't do that.
We said goodbye to Fang.
Yeah.
See ya, Fang, and we are down to our final 4. Oh my gosh. All right, let's make a new losers.
Now, the final 4 are going to have to lip sync for their lives.
Oh, Jesus. We're adding in some twists. The twist is your high school classmates are going to vote.
I don't think my high school classmates would know who I was. They'd be like, I don't think we went to high school with her.
No, me neither. Hey, wasn't that dumb guy that did some dumb stuff? I didn't do anything dumb. I did nothing of note.
I was a shadow.
Yeah. I liked it that way, to be honest. It made it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Floating through school. Wow, let's not get too down here. High school was sad, but it gets better.
It was, well, I mean...
College. We went to college.
College was great.
College was great. Our our first year group was the best.
It really was.
We're still in contact with such a significant portion of it.
Yep. Great people, all wonderful individuals, very talented.
If you're listening to this and you don't like high school, it gets better. Just wait for college, where you can really decide who you're going to be, reinvent yourself, figure yourself out. It's great. Try new things.
Meet good people.
All of that stuff. Off the top, this actually, I think, might... Oh.
Uh-oh.
No, I think it's easy. I think it's going to be real easy because I'm not the only one voting. We have Lulu versus Celeste. And the second bracket is Tifa versus Fran.
Ooh.
I am almost a little bit upset with how these brackets have shaken out. The idea of losing Tifa or Fran before the final battle is a little weird.
Let's talk about Fran. What do you think?
She's great. I mean, and it's a lot to do with the design of Fran. It is explicitly meant to be sexy. All the Vieras in that game are, but it's specifically Fran. The voice actor for the North American version.
So good.
I'm the kind of person that I think can fall into a very severe like for a voice. And Fran's voice actor is just like, sweet God, yes, hello.
An amazing. I really feel like Fran's voice actor made Fran even hotter than she already was.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, undoubtedly, just like without question, yes. Yeah. And just elevates it. And then character wise, she has that whole interesting sort of relationship with her group of people. She does do a bit of a Kamari thing where she's a little bit of a back character until you hit a point where like she's always there, she's always prominent, she's always working with Balthier, but like we don't really learn a lot about her. We're not pursuing her goals or interests in a more explicit way until we run into that.
Mm-hmm. But that's what I like about her. She's not high maintenance. It's not, you just kind of unpack all these really interesting things about her.
And she just walks around kicking ass in those ridiculous ass
with
heels.
Her beautiful little bunny ears. Oh, she's just so pretty.
And her little bunny tail.
I just love her. I love her so much because she is...
How can you not?
Everything she's... They really did a good job of like, what's going to be sexy? I know, a rabbit woman wearing high heels.
Yeah, and it appeals to, from what I've talked to friends and people that like that game, people that love FF12, love FF12. Yes. It was a bit undersung when it first came out, but it has definitely climbed up and become sort of like high tier Final Fantasy. Like Vayne as a villain is just fantastic.
I like the political intrigue of that one a little bit. Like it kind of builds and then it becomes like the past ones are a little more like Final Fantasy 7. It's okay. Final Fantasy 8 and 9 are a little like CW teeny, and then boom.
Yeah, 9 is still one of my favorites for like the whole VV arc, and
that killed me. That scene with all of the.
I mean, it should, or you don't have a heart. Like, if that didn't reach into your soul and just, what is human? Oh, I finally become...
immortal. Oh.
I know what I am now, and then, like, but I'm done. It's over. Immortal.
That was such a great game.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It is. It's a really great game. It's tight, too. The pacing, I think, is good. Like, it's an FF game, so if you're going to go out and, like, grind forever, you also get that weird-ass, like, ragtime mouse who does the quizzes.
Oh, I love that thing. Why is it so weird?
And you get, what is that town called? Trino, the like nighttime town with the piano music. The music in that game is so much.
There's so many good little towns that you run through that are just, there's like, that game is gorgeous.
Airship design, the background design for all of the scenes that you're in. You start out playing Vivi in that like really atmospheric like opening scene.
Yeah.
God, when Alexandria gets destroyed.
That was crazy.
Atmos sucking stuff. Oh, wow, that game, I need to replay it.
I'm going to replay it too, I think, because it is just so beautiful.
Again, for like the 9th time. And yeah, it doesn't bring a whole lot to the sexy FF character game because they're all sort of chibi or whatever, but Yeah,
I mean, like I kind of thought there was a couple characters on there that I was thinking about throwing in here, but Final Fantasy VIII was too much of a powerhouse in terms of character design.
Yeah, it really was. As far as for, sex appeal, character design. I think the character designs in FF9 are fantastic and whimsical and great, but a little different.
So what do we think about our little bracket here? So we've talked about Fran.
Yeah. We talked a lot about Tifa before. Yeah. Tifa, again, is iconic. They only made her better and more interesting in the remake and sort of expanded on her character.
She definitely got better, yeah.
Yeah, she suffered a little bit from being like, oh, Cloud in, the original game and even like the Advent Children movie. Mm-hmm. And she definitely gets a lot more agency and more interest in the remake. And she is just sort of everyone's sweetheart from an FF game, isn't she?
She is. I feel like this is going to pain me because I was willing to like throw down for Fran, but I feel like it's a hard, like Tifa's a juggernaut. It's really hard to go up against someone that has the history, the appeal, the legacy.
And if you are willing to bring FF7 remake into it, she suddenly becomes much more interesting as well. But I don't know, Fran did that all in one game. She didn't need a remake to get her there. On like pure, like if we're just looking at sex appeal on like a scale, I think Fran takes that. Yeah. I mean, the skirt and the punching and the shoulders and the arms are Tifa fantastic, but like maybe she doesn't make it. But the big question is, are we willing to lose her here now and have Fran go up against somebody that she could no way lose to? And I think the truth is that we have just decided that the final battle is against Fran and Tifa, and we're just letting Lulu and Celeste go.
Oh yeah, I kind of forgot about. I mean, like I love Lulu so much. When that game came out, I just drew Lulu over and over. Like I have sketchbooks upon sketchbooks just filled with drawings of Lulu.
No, I did too.
She was just gorgeous.
She's just got the dripping attitude too that's so appealing. She just is a take no nonsense because she's, and it's not because she's being, a rude person. She's very focused on what her job is and wants to do a good job and take care of it. And so she's responsible in that way. That's also very sexy.
And let's talk about voice acting there too. Like another great.
Also so good. Yeah, Celeste obviously isn't making it through this round. There's only so far your pixels can take you. I'm sorry. OG Nintendo game. But the question is, does Lulu have enough here to make her go on and face off against Tifa or Fran? And are we willing to do that? Are we willing to do that?
I'm actually kind of struggling with this.
Me too.
I love Lulu. Lulu is one of those characters that I feel like I have history with, just because, you know, when you sit and draw a character over and over and over for hours, you kind of start to feel like you know them.
I think you've done it just now. I think if you talk about that history aspect, the way that I played FF12, the way I experienced FF12, what it's had in my life, a big portion of my relationship with my wife is her coming over to my house and playing FF12 and me watching and just sort of hanging around while she did that. Like a very significant portion of our relationship. And Fran's a part of that.
Yeah.
And Lulu was an adolescent thing for me. I think I'd either was getting ready to go to college or just started college and was playing FF10. And, you know, there was Lulu. And Tifa is great. Tifa has sex appeal, but Tifa may not hold that same place in my mind as those other two characters. I'm willing to say goodbye to Tifa.
I'm willing to say goodbye to Tifa as well.
Whoa, shit. Oh, we're going to get hate mail.
We're going to get so much hate mail. People are not going to be happy with that, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, and if you want to add a little bit more sex appeal to Tifa, you should see how the artist Christopher Anka draws her, and it'll just blow your mind.
Maybe we need to link to that on the old social medias.
Yeah, or throw it into the show notes. We should probably put character pictures into all the show notes as soon as I figure out how to do that properly. I'm old. Can't do the internet, the podcast.
Help us.
Cannot. Okay, we're doing this. We're saying goodbye to Tifa and obviously Celeste.
Yeah, so now it's Fran versus Lulu.
This is tough. I know which way my heart goes initially. I could be convinced, but I'm willing to, knowing that this was going to happen, give it to Fran. Knowing that putting Lulu up against Fran was going to be tough, I think I'm willing to give it to Fran almost right out off the draw. The character design, the outfit is so well designed. Like it's not just scantily clad and like skimpy and sexual, but it's also really ornate and beautiful and well designed.
Yes.
Final Fantasy XII's characters were designed by Akihiko Yoshida, which is not one of the bigger names in Final Fantasy character designs as far as I know, but I might be showing my bias to very early character design. Oh, and Lulu is a Tetsuya Nomura character design. So that is the person who did Tactics, all the Tactics character designs and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Which we need a full hour to talk about Final Fantasy Tactics. I really love the design of Lulu. I think it's so intricate and beautiful, like the belts, the different stuffies that she had. Like the design of her is just so spot on.
Yeah, she's got that great little bit of fringe going on with the jacket as well.
But there's something about Fran.
It's hard to look at Fran and say that somebody else is in any way a better design.
You know what, Ben? I'm calling it for Fran.
Yeah, I think we have to.
There's just so much going on for her. If we're talking about hot or not, Fran is hot. And there's just like, she's such an interesting character. It's hard to make a side character that is so intriguing that you don't really address her until halfway through the game. And you're just like, oh my God, I want to know more about her.
Let's kind of do a little bit of a breakdown here. Okay, sexy character design. Who do we give the edge to? And I think it's Fran.
Fran.
As much as Lulu is absolutely lovely. And then we go like sexy voice acting. Oh God, that one's tough. They're both so good, but I think Fran.
Fran.
Yeah. What do we got? Characterization, just sort of their personality and characterization in the game. They both take a similar sort of role in being that like +1 to one of the characters.
I do think Lulu was more of like a voice of reason and like mentorship.
Fran sort of lets Balthier do what he's going to do, but seems to have, in my opinion, maybe her own agency in the story itself, in that she chooses to be there more than like is deigned by the gods to be there.
Yeah.
So, she just gets the edge overall, doesn't she?
She kind of does.
Well, congratulations, Fran. You won this game that we played.
Dork Matters, odd or not.
Yeah. Wait. What was the official title? Final Fantasy Fight.
Final Fantasy Fight, #1. Probably because we're going to get so much hate mail that we're going to have to readdress this.
Yeah, you know what? I completely understand. This is very personal to people, and like their favorite characters and aesthetics are going to play here. And you know what? We want to hear who you would have put at the top, or go through our brackets and let us know what you would have done differently, where you might have made different decisions. I'm super curious to know who would have ended up at the end, given the characters that we brought to the table. I want to hear that. I want to hear who y'all would have picked. And there's a lot to choose from.
I think we do need to have this conversation again with suggestions from listeners.
Oh, that's a great idea. You heard it from Lexi, folks. You all let us know which character we should have brought into this that we did not. And we're going to do another round here, which is going to be the listener edition, where we take the characters you suggest and we put them into a new tournament. And we'll call it Final Fantasy Fight 2. Put up your dorks 2. Listener edition 2.
There's going to be lots of 2s in there.
There's some 2s. I guess that's it. We did it.
Hooray!
Isn't she lovely? Look at her.
I love Fran. I'm going to draw pictures of Fran.
I just felt like she needed a victory song.
She needs a lap. She needs a victory lap.
Yeah. Take your lap, Fran. You are part of one of the best FF games ever, and one of the best looking and sounding and characterized folks out there. So congratulations to you.
Yeah, good on you.
I hope you're listening. If you are, drop us a line. We'd love to have you on the show.
Can we get the voice actor on the show just so we can both be like,
We should probably figure out who that is.
I think it's like Nicole Fantel.
If you're out there, friend, you hear this somehow, hit us up. We'll have you on the show, and you can take credit for Fran's victory here.
Yeah, perfect.
It's perfect. I guess that's it for us for tonight. Thanks for listening. I hope you were on the edge of your seat with our battle here. Really put your dorks up as well.
Thanks for listening, fellow
Thanks
dorks.
for listening. Yeah. Do us a favor, if you are enjoying the show, give us a review and a rating on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening, because that shit helps us out a lot. It helps us get to other people who might enjoy the show as well, or, share us on your socials and drop us a comment, say hey somewhere, and we'll chat at you next time. Dork, 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 dork.
Thanks for listening to Dork Matters. If you like the podcast, subscribe, give a rating, and tell a friend about us. if you are a fellow dork and have a dork issue that you think we need to discuss, tell us on our social media. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter. You can also check out our original art and other content from Ben and myself.
We'd like to say a big thank you to Yabra for the use of our theme song Dance off of their Astral EP, as well as a thank you to Jess Schmidt for producing and editing our podcast. Thanks, Jess.
Dork Matters.
This podcast is created on the traditional territories of the Blackfoot Nations, which includes the Siksika, the Piikani, and the Kainai. We also acknowledge the Stoney Nakoda Nation, Tsuut'ina, and Métis Region 3.
Dork Matters is a proud member of the Alberta Public Radio Podcast Network.